Zac Efron, what is going on, my friend?
I think you got the wrong podcast there, brother.
Your name is
Zac,
Zach?
Zac Efron.
Your name is Zach.
I haven't had a six pack since like 7 years old.
Didn't you have
Uh,
one the other night on the other podcast?
oh well, yeah. Now I drink six packs, but not a part of my body since what, fifth grade? No, not
What's up,
even.
dude?
Swimming, enjoying the pool. Kids were off for the weekend.
So we've been continuing this trend of night podcasts, and I don't know what makes night podcast recordings more special, but there's just something I just can't put my finger on that makes it that much better. I don't know, but I'm
I'm
enjoying it.
drinking water like a responsible human because I have to do shit in the morning. Here you are
Oh,
popping the top. This motherfucker.
I have things to do tomorrow.
Yeah,
At
me too.
starting at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
Um,
mine starts at 7 as well.
well, I'm just built different. How about that?
I mean, yeah,
I mean, have
definitely from here up, you're built different.
have you seen my moobs?
You're what?
My moobs.
I'm
You
not even sure what that is.
man boobs.
Yes, and I'm quite fond of them.
My milkshake brings the boys to the yard. What's up?
I think that milkshake is rancid. I have I have a would you rather that's not
Oh,
it's not bodily fluid related and or sex related. So
well, I think the fans first enjoy it because it's coming from you, and second, I'm not delivering it for whatever it may be. So shoot your
okay.
load.
So would you rather win the lottery or live twice as long?
I am a fan of living.
I mean, so like I think average age for men in the United States to die is like 72. So you're living to 144? I mean, I don't think I don't know. I think if you're living to 144, what are you gaining?
It, I need to know more of the rules on this. Like,
Just make them up.
am I going to stay the shape I am? However, I like when I say yes, I want to live double the average life. I'm staying in this form until 144 or whatever it may be.
Right. That's what I don't. Does that mean that I age half as fast?
Because am I going to look like a fucking raisin by the end of this and just
Well,
short and shriveled like normal? But I mean, just
right.
and
Like
just a complete
that's what
vegetable.
I don't fully know about. I mean, I would assume you would age half as fast,
And what was the
right?
other
So
one? Win the lotto?
win the lottery.
Which lotto?
Well, it just says lottery. It doesn't say. So let's just say it's not like the greatest Powerball jackpot of all time. Let's say it's the Texas lottery. So like $8 million.
I'm probably going to go with double life.
But like, okay, so I I can see the appeal, right? But I mean, so if you live twice as long, right? That means that if you retire at 65,
Oh fuck, I'd
and
be out of money by
well, right, that's what I'm saying. We'd all be out of money by the time we're 90.
if it's a Texas lotto and it's a 4 mil, I can burn that at a bar.
Well,
Um,
right. I mean, that's kind of why I put it as the stipulation as the Texas lottery. Because if it's Powerball, the
I'll be
cheapest one
good.
is $20 million.
But you know what? I can still enjoy life with 4 mil. You know what? I retract my original statement and go back to the lottery. I will go with the lottery, sir.
And I think when I read it, I thought, you know what, this is probably pretty close. But I just don't. Now that we're saying it out loud, I don't know what you gain
There's
because
nothing really to gain from it.
no, because everyone you know is going to die. But before you hit 100, everyone you know will die, right? And then after you're at 100, well, and then really at 100, your kids might be dying too.
You're partying with grandchildren and great grandchildren by that
Right.
point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is super weird. I just don't think that would be. I don't see that as being a positive. So, all right.
Mm,
So then the other one that I read was, would you rather have the ability to fly or the ability to breathe underwater? Now,
fuck.
I'm assuming they meant breathe. They spelled breath, which pisses me off. But they said, I'm just gonna ad lib the E in there.
Okay. So if it's like pool water, yeah, I'd breathe underwater all day. And if it's like ocean water, because
Yeah, I would assume it's any water.
that is true. But I can't even see through Galveston water. I'm not trusting that. I'm flying.
This is true. It doesn't give you the ability to see everything.
Yeah, because sharks can still come up on your motherfucking ass.
And
Jellyfish,
then, like, on top
fuck
of
them.
that, you can breathe in the water, but that doesn't mean that your body is not susceptible to the pressure,
That is
right?
true.
So, like, if you get down too far, like, you just implode or whatever.
And besides, I hate my 45-minute commute to work every day. My bitch ass is flying.
Well, and
Rain,
then it doesn't say
snow.
how fast you can fly. And then, well, yeah, then that's the other thing. What if there's weather, right? You're just gonna fly above it.
I just get in my car, take an umbrella, wear a hat.
But I'm saying, if you could fly, you're gonna drive a car again? Why?
That is true. I don't know, like flying seems pretty fun, but at some point, is it gonna be like how it was when you were 16, getting your license, and you're just like, "Fuck yeah, I get to drive,"
Yeah, but
and
when you
then
walk out with your driver's license, you don't get a fucking hoverboard. You
that is
walk out to
true.
like a Nissan Altima. That ain't cool.
I like those, man. Those were good ones.
I mean, they're okay. I mean, whatever. They did their job.
You ready to start this shit?
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
Woo!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Two Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports. I'm Ed.
I'm Zach.
And here we are again, you sexy assholes.
Yep.
We are
Gotta love
here.
me some balloon nuts.
Oh, we love them balloon nuts. And those y'all who know, you fucking know. So, um, dude, sports world still being sports world shit, right?
Yeah, like tonight, like of all nights, like right before we came on, I
Yeah.
sent you that video of the Phillies Braves game.
Tell
Right?
tell everybody who missed that game what's going on.
Yeah, if you missed it, basically Phillies win 7-6 in 9 innings. Um, pretty hotly contested game, both sides hitting home runs back and forth. But it comes down to a sacrifice fly in the top of the ninth. So the Phillies, they get a guy on third base, 2 outs, or no, 1 out, sorry. Fly ball hit to left field, and throw comes in. Throw beats the runner by a step and a half. Catcher blocks the plate perfectly, slides over and tags the runner. Umpire calls him safe. Now, when you watch the replay, does his foot slide inside of where the catcher's trying to block the plate? Yes, it does. And so when I saw it live, I thought, oh, you know what? He probably was safe. Then they show the replay on like the Jumbotron in the stadium, and everyone sees it. The Braves players even start walking off the field because they thought it was a catch in left field and then thrown out at home plate. They're coming up to bat in the bottom of the ninth. So, like, they're already in the dugout almost. And then the umpire has like the little, the headset on, and they're listening and they're showing replays. And then sure enough, they catch this replay from the infield side, and you see the foot, it hits the ground, skips over the plate, never touches home, lands on the other side of the plate, umpire calls him safe. And you can see the tag has already been applied to the runner. So they did all this. They went to review, like he got challenged. They went to review. People in wherever, la baseball land, they reviewed everything. They saw all the angles, and they came back and called him safe. And
Did
I don't get it.
did they show the over the plate view?
Yeah, they showed every view they had.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
And
I
that's what I'm
haven't
saying.
watched it yet.
They showed that same view in the stadium, and the Braves thought it was so clear they started running off the field. And like then I was watching it and I thought, oh yeah, that's a better angle. His foot never touches home plate. And then they come back and they call him safe, and you're like, what? How is so? This is my thing. In the NFL, they're trying their damnedest to get it right, and I applaud that. And to me, I am a baseball purist, so I don't really like adding all the cameras and having the review and having the challenge. I don't like that. So I'll go, on record saying that it's bullshit. I don't like it. I just want umpires calling balls and strikes. I just want umpires calling out safe. That's all I want.
Right.
But if you're going to have it, make it fucking work. It's the dumbest shit to stop a game for 10 minutes to review a play and get it wrong.
So why do you think they came to the decision that he was safe?
I am sitting here telling you that I watched all of the game.
Okay.
All of the broadcast coverage of that play. And I watched SportsCenter when they talked about it, and there's no explanation other than there was not enough evidence to overturn the call.
I wonder, so I'm a firm believer that there are umpires that hold grudges against teams.
Oh, 100%.
We won't bring up a certain umpire that is against our beloved Stros. But I'm wondering if that factors in on this. I'm wondering if a contact may have fell out. Maybe he sneezed and tried to catch it, and as he was opening his eye from the ending of that sneeze, his foot was on the plate. I don't know.
My thing is, I understand, as the play's happening, bang bang play. So I guess that's what I was trying to say is that if we didn't have replay, right? All we had was the umpire. It's like, oh, the umpire called him safe.
It is what it is.
Yeah, he made the call that he thought he made. That's what he thought he saw at the time. It was a close play. These athletes are fast. He's trying to get in the right position to make sure that he sees everything because he's got to see the plate and the guy sliding and the baseball and the glove all at the same time.
Right.
And they're not in the same area. They're all over the place. So in that instance, had he called him safe, I'd be like, oh my God, he blew the call. But we just got to live with it. But when you see nowadays in baseball, you see that, okay,
there's a team of people that watch these replays, right?
Exactly. And then not only for the Braves and the Phillies, there is an overall guy, like somewhere in this area. I don't know. He's watching every angle. He sees every camera angle. How's he get it wrong?
Maybe he got a titty pic from his wife or somebody.
I mean, honestly, that I don't. Maybe the system wasn't working, and he's like, "Look, I can't see it. We're just gonna go with what you called on the field."
Fucking ice cream machine's down today, dude.
Yeah, oh my bad. It's real spotty. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you're a Braves, granted, they play 162 games.
It's not going to be a deciding factor of this game to where they're not going to the playoffs or something.
But what I'm saying is we won't know that till September.
And we see a lot of this in all sports all around ever since they've implemented the replay, right? We've already seen one earlier this season with MLB. We talked about it on the last one, I believe, with
the leaning over the plate.
Right. The Marlins
Which
and the Mets.
Play, by the way.
Right. Everybody can bring up the incidents with New Orleans and the Rams a couple years back.
Well, but that wasn't a challengeable play at the time.
That's true.
So, but give credit to the NFL. They did make it a challengeable play for one season, and then they got rid of it again. But they tried to make it proper. They tried to make it correct. At
the end of the day, you hope that all people involved give it 100% honest answer on what it comes to. At the end of the day, we don't know what their intentions are. Somebody could have money on a game. Somebody could be in favor of a team. Just personally, there's things that may go in the back of your mind, and I'm not here to start conspiracy theories.
Right.
But it's a human factor, right? And
It's
that's
with what you're saying, like it's just weird that they would go through all the trouble to create all these rules and give teams challenges and all that kind of stuff. And then at the end of the day, just be like, well, you know what? That's what it was called on the field. We're just going to go with that.
right.
Well, if you were just going to go with it on the field anyway, and then why go through the facade of we want to get it right? Because you don't want to get it right, clearly. Because you don't.
True. I excuse me. I'm wondering if there's more to that situation, right?
Right.
Something behind the scenes.
And
And
that's what I'm saying. That's the only explanation to me that makes any sense. Because there should be no because okay, like
if you have a team of people who are looking at this and
right,
that's their only job.
right. But I mean, even like how sometimes in the NFL they're like, oh, he stepped out of bounds on the step, right? And then you show the replay, and it's like, here's the line, here's his foot, and it's like, you tell me where he's out of bounds,
Right.
or tell me he's not. And then they're like, well, we can't tell, so the umpire, the field judge, whatever, called him out of bounds on the 7. We're gonna go with it. And like in those instances, I'm like, you know what? You're right. I can't tell definitively, right? But in this instance, home plate's here. His foot does this, never touches home plate. Like, I just don't like. This right here makes me want to completely disband all of replay in Major League.
Let's get with our tech team and get that video posted up on Facebook and let the fans decide what they think.
Gonna have to.
Okay. Those y'all who's listening, go to Facebook, look at the video, and let us know what you think, and we'll give the verdict out on the next go round.
Yeah, because to me, like you said, there are some times where it's too close to call, and to me, this is just blatantly wrong.
And I'm with you on that. If it's something that's so like hard to tell because of the angles or the way the grass was moving that day or something like,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. But if it's something blatant to where we've seen it before at home plate where motherfucker was out by a mile and they still gave it to him, and they still reviewed it and gave him the run. Bullshit. Utter bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm waiting to see. What's your over under on how many more of these we got this season?
Well, I mean, 2 so far. We've only
Right.
had, what, like 85 games? So, I mean, total, how many games are they going to play all season long? There's 30 teams, right?
Yeah, sure. I'll go with that.
Okay, so I guess I would say we're gonna have, I don't know, 15 or 20 more where we're just like, what the hell? What are they looking at?
I'm wondering, excuse me, if we're going to see one that's going to cost somebody a playoff spot.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like this game, granted, now it was a tie game in the 9th.
Yeah.
They scored 1 run. The Braves still had a shot to tie it up in the bottom of the 9th, and they didn't do it. But who's to say that it doesn't go tied in the 9th, into the 10th, into the 11th, and the Braves eventually pull it out? You never know.
Well, I was looking at the total score and I was thinking, okay, well maybe it has something to do with the over under, but games this season so far has been over under like 7 to 9. So no, that had no deciding factor into it. Unless this is the season that MLB is wanting to push Bryce Harper and the Phillies for some reason.
I mean, those are possibilities. Like I'm a conspiracy theorist, but like even like what I'm saying is that right now, those are the only plausible explanations, and that's stupid.
Well, Bryce Harper went 1 for 4 this game, so I don't think he had a factor into it.
He hit a home run in the opposite field. It was a pretty good shot. But yeah, he struck out twice, and then I think he flew out. But
yeah.
But my point is that these type of plays right here, without information for Major League Baseball, these are the types of plays where you're like, yeah, they're trying to throw it for the other team.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if there's some hatred because there's such a there is a fan base that's growing for Atlanta.
Yeah.
And again, this is like diving deeper into this whole conspiracy theory. Like the young players that are coming out with Atlanta, they're getting some traction going. They went deep in the playoffs last year, even though it was a short season. Um, and then I don't know if there's supposed to be some love. Hold on, just came to me now.
What?
Is Atlanta getting hate because of the whole political crap that's going out there with the voting?
Because of I don't know. I
I mean,
mean,
MLB already pulled the All-Star game from Atlanta.
yeah, but I mean,
Is this
no,
more of a fact or more of a way to say we're not even bringing playoff games to you?
no, I don't think it's that.
Whoa!
That's way too far fetched for me because um the Atlanta Braves players, they are a part of the MLB Players Union,
Right.
and the Players Union is the ones that wanted to move the game. So, no, I don't think they're going to punish their own players.
Um,
Um, I don't know. That one's too far fetched for me, I think. But
Manfred, I could see him doing this.
man, I don't know. I hate all baseball commissioners. So me and uh, me and Bud Selig don't get along.
Are y'all still texting every now and then?
Yeah, well, the last text that I sent him was, "If I see you in the streets, you're gonna catch these hands." Like no words, no apologies, no. Hey, what's up, man? Hadn't seen you in a while. Just straight hands.
I'm assuming he didn't text back.
Uh, I think he said, "Bring it," or "You ain't big enough." I'm not sure, but either way, uh,
I
I'm
would
not a
love
fan of him,
I would love
and
to see
he
you
can.
to fight an 86-year-old man.
Well, I wouldn't fight an 86-year-old man. He'd probably kick my ass. But that's not
Oh,
the point.
I'd knock an 86-year-old man out in a heartbeat if I had
I
to.
mean, what are you gonna do? All you gotta do is take his walker, and he falls over.
Fuck
He's
it,
out.
that's a start.
I, mean, I guess. This is like you gonna treat it like an MMA fight where you got to beat them while they're down.
Put him in an armbar. That motherfucker would snap like a fucking raw
Oh,
noodle.
God. His bone snapped like a twig. That'd be terrible.
Y'all don't believe that I'm one that beats up on elderly people.
No.
No, I don't know, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
Speaking of conspiracy theories and crazy shit that happens in sports, did you see that Evander Holyfield is gonna box again?
Fucking A, man. Hold on. Is it gonna be like Tyson and who is it? Roy Jones that fought
No.
each other?
Well, so I mean, I think that was probably a better fight than what we're gonna see here. But yeah, Evander Holyfield, he is fighting the last guy that Tyson fought like before he retired the first time. So technically that guy knocked out Tyson, and
Okay.
then shortly after um he got knocked out by Tyson, or shortly after he knocked out Tyson, Tyson retired. So the idea is that that guy basically, was he forced Iron Mike Tyson out of the game is kind of the way that they're,
Well,
promoting it or whatever.
there's really no other way to battle that. I mean, you get knocked out and don't come back. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
your farewell tour there.
Yeah. So it says that Evander Holyfield will face Kevin McBride in an exhibition bout on the undercard of June 5th bout with I don't I don't know how to say his name, Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. So yeah, we'll see Evander Holyfield fighting at 58 years old.
Well, Kevin McBride's no youngster either. He's sitting at 47. I remember him.
Well, yeah, but
Um,
I mean, like, don't you remember your parents at 45 and 55?
yeah, but they weren't professional boxers getting pounded in the face constantly. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I guess. And yeah, they're not like, full on trained and all. Like, I get it, I guess, but I just think that this is a bad look. Like, why can't they just start doing commercials for like AARP and just be done with it?
Well, dude, there's just some that still have the fight that are in them that they want to keep going on it, right? Um,
I mean, I just want to see Evander Holyfield doing like Ensure commercials and being like, "Look, they grew my ear back."
so, excuse me, damn it. Tyson was 39 when he lost to McBride. McBride was 32. Um, I'm not trying to defend Tyson on this. Was he out of his prime? Absolutely.
100%.
Um, maybe that was at a good point. For this fight, though, like, one, Evander Holyfield's probably broke and needs some money, and they're probably going to pay him a lot because it's a name. Two, does this go on your record if you beat McBride? And
No,
like,
because it's an exhibition match, it's not. It doesn't count because it
so
says this says the same thing here about Tyson. That McBride was Tyson's final professional opponent, but we both know that Tyson has fought since then.
right.
So that I guess what it means is just if they're exhibition matches, then they don't count towards your final
More
total.
than likely, this is just a charity event to bring some deep pockets into a room to watch two guys. One's known for beating one of the greatest of all times. The other one's known for getting his ear taken off by the greatest of
Right.
all time. Um, the two of them can play tummy sticks together and then throw a couple of punches and be done.
What I'm getting from this whole story is that so I heard a rumor that Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield were going to fight again this summer.
I heard that too.
And I guess they couldn't agree to terms or something. But the Evander Holyfield camp is saying that Mike Tyson turned down $25 million to fight Evander Holyfield this summer. And so I don't know if they're going to just try to put Evander Holyfield out there in this fight to show Mike Tyson, like, hey, we're going to be fighting. We might as well fight each other. Or if this is just a tune up so that they can fight Mike Tyson, the Evander Holyfield can fight Mike Tyson next year, right? Like this is like a tune up to make sure that he's completely ready. And in their eyes, maybe he's fighting a lesser opponent. I don't know.
I don't know what Evander's training has been like, but Tyson getting up to the Roy Jones fight, did you see any of the videos that came out on that?
I mean, let me ask you this: if you had a baseball bat, would you get into the ring with Mike Tyson the way he looked in those videos?
No, no.
I
That
felt like he
dude,
would have ate the baseball bat and then beat the shit out of me.
I've said ever since I could remember watching that dude box growing up, he has one of the meanest uppercuts I've ever seen. And
Yep.
him at 98 years old or however old he is today,
Yeah.
still doing that tight uppercut close to the body and with the speed that he had at such an older age, like that just looked deadly to me, and I wouldn't want any part of that. Evander Holyfield, not Evandy, Evander Holyfield is probably nowhere near the shape that Tyson is in.
I
So
mean, for his sake, I hope he is.
he would have to be, and we all know as the age creeps up on you, it's harder to get back into former shape of whatever you were in the past, right?
Yeah. Like if I even think about a chocolate shake, like I
You've
gain
gained 20
12
pounds.
pounds. Like, how
Right.
does that even happen?
And same thing with me. If I think about running, I start sweating, but I don't lose any weight.
Yeah. Yeah, my blood pressure goes up, but that's about it.
But at the same time, like, I would rather see fights that we grew up watching. Like, Evander Holyfield fighting Kevin McBride, I'll probably watch it because I like seeing stuff like that. I don't give a fuck about these YouTube stars that are coming out and boxing here and there. And none of them could last in an actual real boxing match. What is it? One of those, one of the Pauls, not Logan, whatever his brother's name is.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Logan Paul. That's the only one I know.
Not that douche canoe. His fucking brother fought Nate Robinson, a fucking NBA former NBA basketball player. no boxing experience, and then you want to go ahead and start bragging about beating them? Fuck off, dude. Get
See,
no.
and like I could never. That's one thing that to me, boxing is the more pure sport. Right?
Absolutely.
MMA is it's hard. I just can't follow it. I don't like it. It's
I'm
not my cup of tea.
I'm a fan of both, and normally with boxing, I stick to the heavyweights. And right now, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are your biggest ones. Excuse me. But I was introduced to Ryan Garcia, and apparently, I'm very late on this kid.
Okay.
Super young, super fucking fast for the division he's in. Lightweight, featherweight, light featherweight, whatever the fuck he's
I
in.
don't know what they are. There's like 18 different weight classes. I can't follow it all.
This kid is super fast, but when you hear that, you're like, well, majority of boxers are. But as fast and as little as he is, the power that he has behind him, holy fucking shit. Look him up on YouTube. Watch
Yeah,
some
I'll
of
have to,
his highlight videos. It is scary how good this kid is. Um, I
yeah.
say all that to say, all those YouTube stars that are trying to be boxing famous, step in a ring with him. Step in a ring
Yeah.
with Tyson Fury. Step in a ring with Anthony Joshua. You are going to get destroyed within the first 3 seconds. That bell ring is still going on by the time you hit the fucking mat.
See, and
Um,
like that's the problem is that like in today's society, like Kimbo Slice,
mm-hmm.
right? Made a
R.I.P., dude.
made a name backyard fighting
Yep.
and put it on YouTube. I mean, dude could fight. When he was younger and he was just mixing it up in backyards, like I'm not messing with him. And he was knocking people out left and right. So I mean, he obviously was a good fighter, but now people are trying to emulate that model that he put out, and either the fights aren't real or they're just not good competition or I
Right.
don't know. But yeah, they're getting their ass kicked. And somehow they're able to gain all this notoriety and all this fame and they're nobody.
Well, the Paul brothers, like I said, are YouTube famous in whatever way. And so maybe the promoters of boxing see it as these are two guys that can bring a new crowd into boxing and start
Yeah.
spreading out that way, right? They start staging some, and again, these are all speculations. I'm not saying any of this is true. They start staging some matches. They give them some freebies here and there, get a little bit of time in the ropes and hitting folks, this and that. Um, but if they ever get pushed to the mainstream, and I say mainstream as far as like an actual division or conference or however boxing is determined
Well,
on,
an actual sanctioned boxing match.
right? And you get into somebody who's been training since they were 12 years old, not somebody who's trained for 3 years.
Yeah.
Um, and if you can beat somebody like that, okay, maybe you can be taken seriously. But for right now, you're nothing more than a sideshow. You're nothing more than fucking. I don't even know the word right now. You're
Right.
just
It's a gimmick. You're just a total
absolutely
gimmick. And that's how I feel. I don't understand. So to me, it even goes back to the Floyd Mayweather. Uh, what's the guy?
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor McGregor fight,
Yeah,
right? Everybody was saying, "Oh, it'll be a good fight. It'll be this. It'll be that. Whatever." And like people that were actual boxing people, they knew it wasn't a fight. They
no,
knew it was going to be garbage. And then it's the same way if it ever went the other, and it'll never happen the other way around.
nope,
But if Floyd Mayweather ever got into an MMA match, he would be dominated.
right,
There's just no way around it. There's no way that you can take someone who has been training jujitsu and like Muay Thai and all these other different disciplines and then put them in MMA against a guy who's only been in boxing and be like, all right, y'all going to fight, but you're going to fight with his rules. And it's like, well, that's not really fair.
right,
Same thing as if you flip it around and now all of a sudden this guy, yeah, he's trained Muay Thai. So he knows, he's trained jujitsu. So he knows how to counter strike and how to avoid. Okay, that's part of the game, right? But then the other game is how do you constantly protect yourself from a boxer? right? And then Floyd Mayweather, how long has he been boxing? Since he was fucking born,
Right.
you
I
know?
think
So like,
he was hitting a speed bag in his mom's womb.
exactly, right? So like, he knows, hey, you know what? I can fake this to get power on that. You know what I mean? Like, he knows all the ins and outs, and he knows, all right, well, when he does this, he's going to try to throw this kind of punch, and I can avoid that. I can avoid that. And that's the problem is that that's Floyd Mayweather's game.
Yep.
Is you're not going to hit me,
It's
right?
too
And
fast.
he gets criticized a lot. I feel like because he doesn't just stand toe to toe and throw punches. He's not like Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson where they just stand nose to nose and just try to beat the shit out of each other.
Right.
And so I feel like had Conor McGregor tried to fight someone who wasn't a boxer but was just more of a brawler, he would have had a way better shot.
Yeah.
But I feel like a guy who is classically trained like Floyd Mayweather to just avoid you hitting him, you're not going to get a clean shot on him, especially if you're not trained like an actual boxer.
Right. But we also know the writing was on the wall on that match because of the fact that have you ever seen any boxing match in the history of boxing promote a match for a whole year worldwide?
Well, I mean, no. The only reason why we're seeing that now, I think, is because there's so much more testing that has to happen. And then
Hmm.
now, of course, this also was, crossing sports.
And
So that
but,
makes it a little different, but I'm on the same page with you. And that's why I brought up the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight, because when we were talking about baseball,
mhm.
we're all about conspiracy theories. To me, the most rigged sport in the world is boxing.
When they want it to be rigged, they know exactly how to get it rigged because the money that boxing brings in per show, those numbers to a fighter are just amazing and can convince you to do anything, with the exception of Floyd Mayweather. Because I guarantee you, now granted, if that match was rigged and they wanted it to go into Connor's favor and they offered Mayweather $200 million, I'm just pulling a number out of my
Yeah.
ass, he would probably still say no because of the fact that he wants to keep that sport pure. The moment you bring in somebody who's not a full-time boxer, let alone from another sport slash company, and then take away his undefeated streak, like, come on, like that's a slap in the face of
Right.
the
And
sport.
and that's but so I feel the same way. I feel like, yeah, there was no way that they were ever gonna be able to swing it to where McGregor won. But I feel like there are some fights where they're just like, you know what? It's going to be a good fight. Let's just let him go.
Right.
Right. Then there are other fights where this may or may not be a good fight, but we know if this guy wins and they can move on and fight this guy, then we'll make a lot more money. So I agree with you on that. But I feel like in this instance, Floyd Mayweather held all the cards, like his camp.
Oh, of
They
course.
they had there was no way that he if they got in the ring and they just went at it and they legit fought.
Would they go 7 rounds?
Yeah, there's no way that fight should have lasted 7 rounds. Floyd Mayweather only let it last that long to toy with Conor McGregor, and honestly, I think it's because he wanted to do a rematch. He didn't know that Conor McGregor was going to retire and walk away and all that kind of stuff. But I guarantee you, after that fight, if they had had another fight 2 years later, it would have made way more money because people would have been like, holy cow, McGregor made it 7 rounds. There's professional boxers that don't make it that much,
Yeah.
and so I think that's where that was going. I'm shocked to not hear you say that it was, or to not want to think it was a conspiracy theory that
Oh,
that fight lasted as long as it did.
I I honestly think that Conor McGregor could hold his own against Mayweather. Since I guess we're going on down this road, I seriously think that he could handle it because looking at the statistics of that fight with Mayweather's 5 previous fighters, McGregor landed more punches than the professional fighters that were fighting Mayweather. And he lasted longer than some of them. I think one or two had to decision or KO'd in later rounds. But for if you were to be that great of a mastermind to stage it to where McGregor is going to have more punches landed on Mayweather than after a year of training, and then have him last to the 7th round and all this. Like, that is a beautiful showing that I've never seen before. But I'm a firm believer with seeing McGregor's history of going from one weight and dropping to another weight and then back up to win 2 titles within the UFC within, I think, a 6-month period to a year period. Like, that man has shown he can adapt to any task that is brought to him. So if you tell him, hey, you're going to get paid X amount of millions to fight in boxing against the greatest of all time, do your thing. I firmly believe a 36-year-old Conor McGregor will beat an almost 50-year-old Floyd Mayweather.
Well, so I feel like the stats are misleading, right? So I don't have the stats in front of me, so I would have to look it up to prove this theory. But I feel like because McGregor is not a normal classically trained boxer, it probably took a couple minutes for Mayweather to completely figure out what he was doing. Right. Because granted, just inherently, because his style comes from a different background, he's going to have a different approach. Right. But once Mayweather figures it out, then it's over. Right. Because he's like, well, I know exactly what you're going to do. I know how to counter what you're doing. I can move away and you're not going to hit me, but I can hit you at will. And that's kind of what we saw before he knocked him out. Right. So.
And that's possible too, right? Like, Conor could have gone into this routine of, I'm going to go left jab with the right hook, whatever. And of course, the years of experience with Mayweather could have caught that.
Yeah. And obviously that's why I feel like if they had an MMA fight, right? Floyd Mayweather hasn't been practicing reversal jiu-jitsu moves for,
and Conor would probably get him out in the first round.
Exactly. He would get him out by submission, and it wouldn't even be close.
But again, though, like, you look at that match, and for what it is, you know it was somewhat of a rigged match, because all the boxing believers of Mayweather would say that Mayweather should have knocked him out within the first 3 rounds, right? Yeah. But where's the money in that? Where's the fun in that, right? So if you give the fans the hope, you're giving bookies the hope that this is going to last to 12 rounds for an unsanctioned match that wasn't even a title fight.
Right.
And they make it to the 7th round. Like, fans are going to leave satisfied watching that, being like, one, I got my money's worth. Fuck, McGregor almost had a chance. Like, it gives them that hope that it could have gone one way or another, right?
Well, it's the hanging carrot syndrome, right? Where it's right in front of you, and it dangles right close enough where you can almost catch it.
Yes.
But you never really had a shot, right? And so that's why I feel like, remember back in the day when Mike Tyson fights would be on pay-per-view, and people would be pissed off because Mike Tyson fights would end in like 8 or 13 seconds. They're like, I paid $75 to watch that shit, and then they couldn't buy another one.
That's the same thing with how UFC is now, right? Like, whenever you get your top title shows going and your main event comes up, you've lasted through the prelims, you've lasted through the main card, and then you get to the final match, the one you've been hoping for, you've been watching since 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's a knockout or a tap out within the first round. You're like, well, fuck. But that's the beauty of the sport, right?
Right. No, I mean, it is. And I mean, you're always going to have your base, right? You're always going to have, the MMA fans that are just always going to buy every single one.
Right.
They're always going to buy the boxing one, no matter what it is.
I've tried to become a better fan like that too, to where I watch the prelims and get to know the younger crowd. And
yeah, and I mean, I would if I gave a shit.
Right.
I'm just not into MMA, so I just don't care. And then even boxing, I think boxing is a more pure, like, sport as far as when it comes to like fighting sports, full on contact sports, whatever they call them.
Pure sport, but most likely to cheat.
Well,
for the people who are gaining money,
definitely most corrupt sport. I got you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like if it's 2 amateurs boxing, 2 guys trying to come up, I feel like that's a better, more pure sport. But yeah, when it comes up to where it's the top of the card, yeah, there's probably a lot more conniving and lying and shit going on. That's where I'm at. But I don't know. I just saw that article pop up, and I thought, man, Floyd Floyd Mayweather, you know, he's probably the best pound for pound boxer, but Evander Holyfield is like one of the guys I remember him and George Foreman. Those are the two guys that I remember,
You don't
but
remember Lennox Lewis with the dreads?
I mean, I do, right? But I remember him mostly because he's in Ocean's 11.
What about Butterbean?
I remember Butterbean because he's on Jackass. That's about it. I mean, I never watched like any of his real fights.
So I don't know if you remember the story or not, but I actually tried boxing for like 6 weeks.
I
Um,
think I do. Isn't it
when
because there was a guy you knew that was legit fighting?
no, that was when I tried MMA.
What the hell?
Yeah, I've tried both.
Okay, so I guess maybe I just thought you tried MMA. I didn't know
So
you tried
the
boxing.
the boxing one was shortly, I want to say it was shortly after high school. There was a Golden Glove competition that came through,
Okay.
and I trained for
You
that.
thought, well, this sounds like a good idea. Let me get some
Absolutely,
experience.
right?
Okay.
I signed up for it, and it was like 6 weeks out or whatever, and I just created my own workout scheme, not knowing what the fuck I was doing.
What did you do? Just wake up and watch Rocky and drink raw eggs
I
and
was drinking raw eggs, chasing chickens all day. Um, Day comes, I remember it. My dad drove me out there, and I said, "You sticking around?" He goes, "Fuck no."
shit?
I said, "Why?" He goes, "I don't want to see you lose your jaw." He said, "I'll see you at the ER." I said, "Damn it."
Yeah, well, I mean, he's half right.
Got in the ring, didn't even last a full round. Got knocked out in the first round. I was
Are
like, "All
you
right,
serious?
yes."
Dude, I don't remember any of this.
So that's when I realized that boxing wasn't for me. Love the
No, I mean,
sport.
you trained for 6 fucking weeks and took a
Well,
real fight.
fuck it.
Wow.
You don't know unless you try. You miss
I
a
mean,
hundred percent of the shots you don't take.
look. You know what? I don't know for sure. You know what? No, that's not even true. I know for sure that I can't get in the ring with any person who takes boxing seriously and have it in any form or fashion that's good for me. So I'm just not going to take that shot.
Well, so many years later, um, my former employer where I was at, one of the guys I worked with was a MMA fighter.
Okay.
He's done Bellator. And then he's done boxing and MMA back and forth. But him and I would go to the same gym. We were on the same shift. We'd work out and this and that. And I was like, hey man, let me see what this is all about. And so I went through a full year of his training, um, just doing whatever. And he's like, bro, if you're serious about this, I get you in a match. First match will be in New Orleans. Let me know what you think. I'm pumped about this. I'm like, fuck it,
Okay.
sign me up for it, right? Telling my wife about it, she's like, I'm not going. Telling my mom about it, I ain't going.
Yeah.
Telling people I know, they're like, I don't want to see you die.
No.
So apparently nobody has faith in me in any physical contact sport.
No, it's just that we don't want to see you end your life because someone else has look, you can fight. You're scrappy. Like that's cool. But these guys are trained. If you
True, but
if you've been doing jujitsu since you were 4 years old, like I wouldn't say I'd be like, you know what, dude, I'll go. That's cool. Good luck.
well, the spot I was going in, I was assuming that the opponent would be at a certain like equal level as I am. They're not putting me against like Conor McGregor or somebody like that,
Well,
right?
I mean, yeah, you're gonna be facing
Um,
people that hadn't fought before, but that doesn't mean that they haven't been training their whole life.
so I'm training, I'm doing great, and we have it scheduled for June something in 2013. And then a month prior to that, a family event occurs to where it just completely ends everything, right? So it's one of those things of what could have been this and that. But now I look back at it and we're talking about this and like the feelings come back and everything is like, damn, that could have been fun. But I'm also getting up there in age. I got kids now. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, no, I don't
But
want to
so
do that.
like the closest story that I have to doing something stupid like that is like I really, really, really wanted a motorcycle.
Oh, nice.
Like bad.
Like a ninja bike or like
Yeah,
a,
like I had picked out a Yamaha R1
ooh,
and I was going to get it that day. Like I was going to leave work and go buy that motorcycle
what
that day.
color?
I wanted it Yamaha blue. I wanted a team like I wanted it to look just like the team bike. I wanted it
Nice.
full on badass, right? Now, for those of you that don't know, a Yamaha R1 is 1,000 cc. Basically, you take it out of the showroom, you change the tires, and it's a race bike. Like that's how powerful those bikes. So this is stupid. So luckily, someone else was looking out for me because I magically got laid off my job that day. Right? Like I was supposed to get off at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Got
They
off
called
at
me
10.
before lunch and they're like, "Yo, we're gonna have to let you go. We're having to cut back." And I was like, "What the hell?"
I'm supposed to
And
buy a
so,
bike today.
right. So like I went home and it's like, what the hell? I lost my job today. I got laid off. I got a severance package and I got like a, like a couple paychecks and stuff. Like, I mean, they were nice about it, but it just told me, you know what? Maybe I'm not supposed to get a motorcycle. And so to this day, I still don't have one. Like I respect them. I think they're super cool. When I go to like car shows and stuff, I always look at the Harleys because they're
Yep.
super badass. But I will never fucking buy one ever.
I've been on a couple of motorcycles. I've thought about buying them, but my dad used to tell me horror stories, and he's witnessed too many friends dying on them.
Yeah.
Like one getting run over by an 18 wheeler. They did a cross country tour, and they were going through Nebraska, and a crow went through the face mask of one of his buddies right off the bike, killed him. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, and then you talk to people that have had street bikes or Harleys or whatever, and they're just like, don't get anything really nice for your first bike. They're like, why? Like, because guaranteed
You're
you're gonna
gonna,
lay it down.
yep,
Like, well, then fuck it. I'm not gonna buy it. Like, and so if you you go to the dealership and you buy your car, and they're like, you know what, this is your second car, don't buy anything nice. And they're like, well, why not? It's like, well, because guaranteed you're gonna get rear-ended.
go
Well,
with the Cobalt.
right. Then I'm gonna buy a shitty car. I'm not gonna buy a nice motorcycle. And then if I'm gonna buy a shitty car or I'm gonna buy a shitty motorcycle because I know I'm gonna tear it up, then why would I want to buy it? I don't want
Yeah,
to buy anything that's not cool. So fuck it. But yeah, so someone somewhere was looking out for me and I didn't end up buying that motorcycle. Thank God.
yeah, yeah. Because who would have known? Maybe this whole thing wouldn't have started.
Right. And some people are probably listening and thinking, well, you know what? I probably would rather not have a podcast. Fuck you.
Hey, I got a motorcycle for sale, Zach.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna pass. Thanks.
Um, Shifting gears on some shit. Something came across my desk from my secretary. Have you ever heard of the name Zach von Rosenberg?
Zach von Rosenberg. No, I have not.
I would assume y'all were brothers since y'all both are named Zach.
So
And
that's
spelled the
not
same
how
way.
names work. I don't know if you realize that last names are usually when you're linked together, not first names.
Um, Anywho, he is a 30-year-old punter from LSU.
Okay.
Zach von Rosenberg has actually been drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates back in, I want to say, 09.
You said punter, right? Not pitcher?
Correct. He,
Okay.
if my memory is correct, all right, so he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates in the sixth round in 2009. While he was there, he was a pitcher. and he did a stint all the way to 2014. Then decided that he was going to go back to college. Went to LSU and
Can you
got.
do that?
I guess you can
Weird. I thought when
um,
you became a professional, like you could no longer go back to
I
college.
think because of the fact that he played a different sport.
Okay, maybe.
And maybe he got drafted right out of high school and never went to college and did the whole
Well,
farm
I say
system.
that, and then Kyler Murray did that, right? Kyler Murray got drafted by the Oakland Athletics and signed their contract and got a signing bonus and all that stuff, and then still
Right.
played college football the next season. So maybe I'm wrong, but anyway,
So he's been with LSU and he was on the championship team 2 years ago. They are actually talking about him possibly being drafted this year into the NFL as a punter.
wow,
Um, that to me, like when this story came up, I was like, man, this is a very odd and unusual story, but that's pretty cool, right? Like,
yeah,
not only are you ambidextrous in multiple sports, but you went from pitching to kicking,
yeah,
and you're possibly going to be a pro in two sports now.
yeah. That's
So,
that's odd.
um,
Pretty cool though.
and I just wanted to bring it up because of how rare it is of something like that you hear. So, all you kids out there, I know that we have tons of kids that listen to this show. You can be whatever you want to be. Some inspirational bullshit right now.
Well, I mean, I think this just goes to show, we might not have any kids that are listening, but we might have some people that have procreated.
God, I hope not.
I think that this shows more than not, kids do not need to like specialize in one sport.
Absolutely. Let your kids fucking venture out,
Yeah,
whether it be soccer, hockey.
I don't care what they want to take ballet or hip hop classes, or they want to learn how to play badminton or gymnastics. Like, let them do it. Let them be kids. Let
Have you
them
been
try and see if they're any good.
have you been
Right?
watching the Professional League of Badminton lately?
No, I have
Dude,
not.
it is intense.
Well, I mean, I doubt it.
Yeah, I can't go any further with this. I wanted to, I just can't. That if there's a
It,
professional league, I would rather watch professional cornhole league.
I mean, I watch that. I
Do
watch that.
you?
I watch curling. I watch bowling.
Hold on. You said curling?
Oh, I love curling.
Uh,
It is so much fun. Like it looks like it would be the greatest sport ever.
they look like the most stressed out people I've ever seen that are trying to hold back the biggest shit that they need to unload.
It, I honestly feel like while it's not their turn, I think they're just drinking.
I don't know,
That's what I
man.
think. Because every single one of those guys looks like they're like a full on alcoholic. Every single one of them.
How is there not a drinking sports league yet?
Because if you drink too much, you die.
Right, but you have to put the limit on the players on how many drinks or how much they can consume within a certain game, right?
So
So,
like a pitch count for like a little league pitcher.
yes.
Okay.
All right. So, if you make it to where there are 5 rounds, best of 5 rounds, you can only consume, let's say, what's a good number?
Well, I mean,
Not
how long is each round?
You can only consume 96 ounces total.
96 ounces. How many beers is that?
Mm, Let me
Carry the
look.
four.
Divide the
That's
two, carry the seven. What did I say? 92?
now I forgot. Yeah. So that's
That's 7 beers or 96.
what?
Eight beers,
Six beers.
96. So if you do 8 beers per player,
Okay. And how many people are on a team? Well,
well,
if we're gonna come at it, we got to go hard all the way through.
so you've got to determine what games are going to be in, right?
Well, if you're
Okay.
only drinking 8 beers, then and there's five events that you're talking about, right? Then you can only have I can't do the math, but it sounds like you only have like 1.5 beers.
So I would probably make it to where if each team or each event holds 2 players, you would need at least ten people.
Okay. Well, so let me ask you this. So let's say, I mean, I would imagine one of the games would be beer pong,
Of course.
right? So how many ounces is one of those solo cups? Are they
Well,
16 ounces?
that's where you wouldn't fill the cups up, right? Because I
Right, right.
think
No, I mean, when we played, we didn't fill them up either. So that's what I was saying. Maybe you put 4 ounces in each one.
yeah.
So then there's 40 ounces. You split it between two people. That's 20 ounces for one game.
So that still leaves you 76 ounces.
Right. So you can still drink, 7 beers on the side.
And so if somebody reaches their allotted amount in an event, you have somebody on reserve who might be a secret weapon at another
Well,
event,
right. And
right?
that, I mean, I would imagine if you had 10 people on your team, right, you would have like a coordinated strategy. I mean, because, like the gymnastics teams,
Mm-hmm.
they have people that do like floor and vault and all that
All
kind of stuff.
right.
So
You're
then
gonna
you'd
have,
have to have these are your beer pong guys.
these are
These
your
are your
flip cup.
that's exactly what I was going to
Right.
say. And
Um,
then, but what other? Okay, so honestly, there's beer pong and there's flip cup.
you can do quarters, but it's not the same because it's not liquor. Um, I mean, apparently I used to go hard on fucking quarters.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, like, so quarters. You said 96 ounces of liquid. If
right.
you
And
drink 96 ounces of Jack Daniels, pretty sure you go to the hospital.
depends on what day it is.
Well, I mean, you know, 96 ounces is a lot because how much is a shot? 2 ounces or four?
Maybe 1 to 2 ounces.
So that's legit like 48 shots.
You're pretty much drinking a bottle almost.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think you could survive that. Can you
Mm,
survive that?
I would try.
I just feel like
If it was a sport, of course,
well,
not
but
for
what I'm saying is
fun.
if we played a game and at the end of the game we had to take a test.
Okay.
And the game was, all right, here, Ed, you're gonna drink 96 ounces of Jim Beam.
I'm on the floor.
And then I'm gonna drink 96 ounces of Budweiser.
You're on the floor. God damn, if
I had to I
you
was trying to put it in the same context.
I'm with you on it.
So if we took it like you would literally be dead and I could still function.
From a wheelchair, maybe.
No, 96 ounces of beer we already determined is 8 beers.
Right.
How many times a week do you drink 8 beers in a sitting?
What's today?
So I don't even know. Sunday.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's my point. And you're still functioning, and we're doing a podcast.
Well, I'm saying though, if you do it, you also have to determine what type of beer you're doing. If you're doing a lighter alcohol per volume, like say Keystone or Natty or something like that. If you're doing Budweiser and you're drinking 8 of them and still standing and doing great, hat off to you, man. If you're doing any craft beers and you're drinking 8 of them and still standing, if you're doing Bud Light Platinums after 8 and still standing, like that's where it comes into, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have to split it up to where you can only take like 12 shots or 12 ounces of shots.
Or if you implement liquor into it.
Right, you got to change it up.
But you can't put card games into it because those take too long.
Right.
And people are already pissed off that basketball and baseball are too long. And football. Fuck it. All sports are too fucking long, apparently.
Well, right. I mean, and then you're making it 5 events.
Best of 5. So if you knock out your team in the first 3 events, you don't even have to worry about the last 2.
Oh, that's a nice little switch there.
Right.
But then can you play multiple games in a day?
Yeah.
So, okay, so then it works to your advantage to try to get somebody else to go more rounds.
Yeah, you're going to have to try to get it to where you look at each event, and if each event equals 96 ounces for said opponent or player, they can play all 3 rounds. And now if they lose the 3rd round, well, then you need to have a counteract to who's going to cover the next round.
Think about it, like, does the counter reset after you're done with your first match?
No, that's going to have to be a 24-hour waiting period.
Well, so then there you go. So then you would have to have a pretty deep roster.
Yeah. God,
we should make this.
We're going to come back to this off camera and get this rolling.
Yeah, because like we have way too many details that we already know. So this is like we're talking about a sport that we've been watching for a while, and we just made it up.
Those of y'all who are listening, all these ideas have been copyrighted in some form or fashion. Don't you fucking steal them. You hear me?
Yes. Yeah, you don't have permission to talk about them or disseminate them to anyone else without the written permission from Two Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports.
In other news, do you remember a gentleman by the name of Eddie George?
I do.
He's about to be the next head coach at Tennessee State.
That's cool. Good for him, man. I like Eddie George.
The dude has no coaching experience whatsoever. Granted, he is a Heisman Trophy winner.
But he played in the NFL forever.
He's a Big Ten Player of the Year winner. He got to the Super Bowl and they lost it. He played for Houston and switched to Tennessee because the team got moved. I don't know, man. Like these former players that are coming out and becoming head coaches, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I think Dion is on the fence right now because this is his first year with a lower team. I think they're doing
He's
okay.
coaching at Jackson State, I think.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, should these players or former players be given head coaching positions because of who they were in the NFL?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because
Ray Rice should be a head coach.
No. So I think that is terrible that you're comparing Eddie George to Ray Rice. That's fucking garbage. Eddie George is a great man.
Actually. Oh, absolutely. All around.
Yeah.
Ray Rice could have been if he didn't pull a left on his old lady.
That to me, that's still one of the worst videos I've ever seen.
Dude, if you bring it up, I can still close my eyes and see it and just get angry as soon as I see it. It's fucking disgusting, right? But okay, so let's take my man, Andre Johnson. Do you think Andre Johnson should be a head coach?
I mean, if he shows interest. So I guess what I was gonna say is I feel like, yeah, they're getting the shot because of who they are. But I mean, they still have to go through an interview process, right? If you go through the interview process and they're like, what kind of offense are you gonna run? And you're like,
hook and ladder.
Well, yeah, we're gonna run oop left, hook and ladder on one. Oopty fucking oop. Like, that's probably a red flag. But I mean, I feel like he went through the interview process. Yeah, he probably got his foot in the door because he's Eddie George. But he impressed them somehow. He impressed them enough to get the job.
Well, okay, so Phillip Rivers.
Okay.
Excuse me. Announced his retirement this year.
Okay.
He already had lined up during the 2020 season a head coaching job in Alabama to a private school.
Okay.
The coach of said private school was on his first year of being a head coach during 2020, already knowing if Phillip Rivers decides to retire at the end of 2021, Phillip Rivers is coming in as a head coach. Granted, it's a high school team. Based off the lack of coaching experience with Phillip Rivers, do you think he should be able to take a job away from a man like that?
I mean, it's unfortunate for the guy who's in the spot. But
absolutely.
If my thing is, if if the public knows that Phillip Rivers was going to take that job, then everyone at that school knew Phillip Rivers was going to take that job, including the guy who was in the job.
True.
So, I mean, yeah, it sucks. You're going to lose your job, but I feel like he knew it was coming. It's kind of on. I mean, if you went to work and they told you, hey, look, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 3 years from now, but there's another guy that we're going to bring back that used to work for us, and he's going to take your spot, and we're going to have to let you go.
Oh, I'm fighting somebody.
Find another job?
I'm fighting somebody But
Well,
if
but I
you
mean, you're gonna look. You're not gonna just be stuck in that one spot, you know.
right, but if you tell me that somebody like Philip Rivers is taking that job, I'll be like, okay, what do I need to do for him? Like, if you're telling me somebody as prestigious as Philip Rivers is coming, like you can either set them up for success or you can set them up for failure, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to be known more for? Probably for setting up for failure.
Well, sure.
But at the same time, if you set them up for success, well, now you've got Philip Rivers in your back pocket. Now y'all
Right.
are buddies. Now y'all are going on Vegas trips or whatever. Like, um, but at the same time, like I find it shitty because of the fact that if these players are using their names to get them these jobs, you're fucking people out who have worked so hard to get to that position. Even if it's something as little as Tennessee State, right? When was the last time you heard anything about Tennessee State football?
Never. Like
Exactly.
this is the
So
first time ever.
to me, it's a money thing, which we all know the NCAA. That's all they ever are is a money thing. They want more money brought in here, there, X, Y, and Z. I don't agree with it, but if Eddie George did the process and did great, this and that, hats off to him. Wish you the best of luck, man. Don't shit the bed. Um,
Yeah, I'm with you. So, but my thing is like it's hard for me to put it in context because excuse me, because the coaches that you're talking about
yeah.
that have worked and scrimped and whatever and made it to where they're at, yeah, they worked hard, but I mean, you don't think that Eddie George being in the NFL is working hard?
Oh, absolutely. For his position, he worked hard, but does his position and the role and the success that he got from the NFL grant him a head coaching job at any point in time?
Well, I mean, it obviously didn't grant him an NFL job,
If
right?
he
But
if
if
he
he
went for one,
well, but what I'm saying is if he had any desire to coach in the NFL, I'm sure he has the contacts. I'm sure he could find an opening if he wanted to,
right?
but he chose not to. And so I kind of feel like by choosing Tennessee State, this shows me more about Eddie George as far as he wants to go somewhere and make a name for himself as a coach,
I can go with
not
that.
just go somewhere and like tag along and be like, well, I'm only here because I used to be the running back. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and your buddy Brian Cushing did that, right? Even after the whole drug or thing that he went through that got him suspended a couple of games. He lasted a couple more years with the Texans, retired, and what happens the following year? He's the strength and conditioning coach for the Texans, right? They
Yeah.
hired him because they knew him, they knew his workout regimen, and
Yeah.
that to me is one of those factors to where it's because of your history with the team and your name, whatever, right? Um, you don't see that with Dion. Dion's been out of the game for fuck
15 years, I think.
right. Same thing with Eddie George. Eddie George has been out for a very long time. So
Yeah.
for them to come out
Same here. He
now,
retired in 2004.
so that was what 17 years ago.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a
To
while.
to still have a love for the game and want to come out and to contribute to it. Um, I'm on the fence again about it because of him being his name. Now, if he would have came on like an offensive coordinator or running back coach or something like that for a D1 school or something, I would understand it a little bit more because of the experience he had. But because of the fact that right out the gate, boom, you're a head coach. I'm like, fuck, you're only getting that because of who you are.
I mean, yeah. So I would agree with you if he was going to be the head coach of Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, that
Right.
happened. But
And
that,
so that's where I'm at. And I mean, I've seen Deuce McAllister. He was the running backs coach for the Eagles,
yep,
right? So like
Brian
that's
Leftwich being the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay.
well, right. So and then I mean, we've seen Vrabel. Mike Vrabel was the defensive coordinator for a couple teams, and then he
Yeah.
became a head coach. You know, so like you see it, it happens. But I mean, I kind of feel like Mike Vrabel earned his spot But he got his foot in the door to interview for a defensive coordinator position because of his name and like winning Super Bowls and being successful in the NFL.
Right.
So I discount it a little bit that it's just Eddie George trading in on his name because it is Tennessee State, right?
Yeah.
He didn't go and like, hey, I need this job, and he didn't try to go to Ohio State and be like, hey,
Right.
I'm gonna be head coach.
As soon as Urban Meyers was out, he didn't be like,
Right, exactly. And who's to say that that's not the job that he really covets? He really wants eventually to be head coach of Ohio State. I mean, it's not a bad gig, but you hear all the time it's the coach for the Texas Tech basketball team, Beard.
yeah,
He just left to go to Texas. Well, why did he do it? He
Probably
graduated from Texas. That's his alma mater.
He's back to where he started at.
Exactly. Well, because that's the idea. The idea is when I was a kid, I went to this school because I thought it was the best school. So now that I'm an adult and I want a job, why wouldn't I think that so-and-so school, that's the best job? So I don't doubt at all that Eddie George has not considered being the head coach for Ohio State. I guarantee he has.
Well, I with comparing it to Beard, Beard knows the deep pockets that is UT. And UT alumni, when they see a UT alumnus on that list of possible coaches, whatever, they're shooting their load in every form and fashion.
Of course. I mean, that makes sense, and they should, right? They should want to get a guy who they don't have to convince to believe in their traditions. They already know he likes them. He's already about it, right? So that works hand in hand, right? The school wants him. He wants to go to the school. It works out perfectly. But I just feel like if Eddie George wanted to, he could be on the staff for Ohio State tomorrow.
So you think he's taking the long road to show he earned?
Well, right, yeah, he wants to show, and I feel like Deion's doing the same thing. I feel like Deion eventually wants to be the head coach for Florida State.
Yeah, but Deion's up there in age, man. Like,
well, yeah, okay, but so is Nick Saban. Nick Saban's almost 70.
Yeah, but that dude is drinking some type of weird, funky water in Alabama that's keeping him alive.
He's making money, but who do you think has more money, Nick Saban or Deion Sanders?
Saban. I think Deion's blown his money.
Well, I mean that's just an assumption on your part, but
in the real world,
yeah,
I know we're both looking it up right now.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that I feel like
Nick Saban's worth $35 million.
Deion Sanders is worth $45 million.
Ooh.
So it's close. But I feel like they're both in the same realm as far as how much money they have. Right? So whatever Nick Saban is doing to stay alive and embalm himself or whatever the hell he's doing, Deion Sanders can do the exact same thing.
That is true. I mean,
but Deion Sanders is not near the age of Nick Saban.
Yeah.
So he can start coaching now and then work his way up. And then, hell, maybe one day he'll be an NFL coach. I don't know what his goal is, but I feel like right now his goal is to be the coach at Florida State. We'll see what happens, but I feel like eventually Eddie George wants to be a coach at Ohio State. Whether he wants to be head coach or not, or AD or whatever, I don't know. But, I mean, that's where they grew up. That's probably their happiest memories as kids. Why wouldn't they want to try to go back?
I agree with you on that. And, again, I wish them both success.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see what comes from that because eventually I think with the experience and the intelligence that they have towards the game, they bring it up to these up-and-coming players.
Yeah.
And that we can see something like that come in the future because both of them were 100% great at their position. And hopefully through the years that they do any type of coaching, they can hit that nerve on one individual that makes them one of the next greats, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I would love to see both of them in the NFL coaching. I think that would be something fun. So, I don't know. Just thought that was something newsworthy to bring up. And
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I just have one last thing is that congratulations to Hideki Matsuyama.
yeah,
Pretty cool. First Japanese golfer to win a major. He won the Masters later on today, or
by
later
what, three
earlier on
strokes?
today. What?
By 3 strokes?
I didn't see how far he was ahead, but I mean, either way, it's pretty cool. Uh, it's his first Japanese golfer to win major championship. I didn't realize that there had never been, but yeah, it says on Sunday Matsuyama won a one shot or who shot a one over 73 to win the Masters by one stroke.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. But I mean, congratulations to him. That's a huge freaking honor. There's only a handful of people that have won Masters tournaments. There's only a handful people that have won majors, and you know some of the greats in the game. We were talking about, you know, is Phil Mickelson ever going to win a major? I mean, now
Right.
obviously he's won a couple, but it's not guaranteed. You know, it's a challenge. You've got to go out there and earn it yourself. And you know, congratulations to him, man. That's pretty awesome.
Well, hopefully he can continue this great run that he did today, and keep playing the game that he's doing so well. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, when we've done like some little pools at work where you try to pick like the best golfers or whatever.
Yep.
I've picked him a few times. He's done me pretty good. He's always like a dark horse favorite to win, but I mean, it's pretty cool, man. I mean, I couldn't imagine, you know, growing up in another country and then, you know, thinking I'm gonna go to the United States and then dominate the United States in a sport that, you know, like all those kids grew up playing. You know,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think they have very many golf courses out in Japan.
I'd say I
I
don't know.
don't know.
I would imagine they do, right? But like it's just like, you know, Japanese baseball players, right?
Yep.
They grow up and they think that they want to dominate the Japanese league, and then, you know, then they get the opportunity to move over to Major League Baseball. And I mean, you know, that's tough to do, man. You leave behind your home country to pursue a dream. I mean, it's pretty cool, man.
And we've seen a lot of that happen in MLB, and a lot of them are hyped up, and they get over here, and then they don't pan out to be what
Yeah,
expected. But hopefully, he's the real deal, and he can continue this streak that he's going on. Granted, it's his first major, but many more wishes towards him for many more wins. Right?
yeah. And I was just sitting here thinking, now that you're mentioning, you know, Major League Baseball, is like, is there? I wonder if there was a Japanese American or a Japanese born player that ever won like a NBA or MLB or NFL championship. You know, I wonder if he's the first one like ever to win a championship. That's pretty crazy.
Right out the gate, I can only say yes to that.
Yeah, because I
Um,
mean, we know that we know Ichiro never won anything. Well, so did uh Hideki Nomo never won a World Series. Who was the first baseman for the Yankees?
uh,
Hideki Matsui. Did they ever win the World Series with him on their team?
oh,
But I can't remember.
Hideki Matsui. Let me look real quick.
That's what I'm doing too. I don't think they did.
Oh wait, no. I just named the guy who won the fucking Masters today.
Yeah.
Um,
Good job, idiot.
Hi, welcome to the
Yeah,
podcast.
welcome to the podcast. Yeah, they spell their first names a little bit differently, but well, I don't know. I don't know the culture in it, like in Hideki, like their last name. I don't know how that works.
I'm not touching that one.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, because I remember, like, we called him Ichiro Suzuki,
Yep,
but he always had Ichiro on his jersey.
yep.
And so, like, I don't understand what I don't know. But, yeah, it says right here, Hideki Matsui won the World Series with the Yankees in 2009. So,
There you
okay.
go.
So then we've had it before, but, oh, well, that's cool. I was curious about that. It actually says Hideki Matsui won the Japan series three times. So that's and that's what's crazy to me is like when you look back at like Ichiro's career, he had 3,000 hits in Major League Baseball, but he had like 2,500 hits in the Japanese league before he even came over.
Maybe it's harder over there.
I don't know, but I mean that just proves that, you know, just because it's in the United States, that don't mean we're the best, man.
That is true.
Because I couldn't imagine hitting for the. Because I mean, Pete Rose has the record, and he didn't have 5,000 hits. This dude has 5,500 or something like that.
Damn.
It's insane. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you start looking at these records, it's crazy some of the numbers some people have.
I'm gonna dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm looking up. Oh, somehow I clicked on the wrong thing.
Pornhub.
Well, yeah, it was like inch roll. I'm not sure what happened there. That was weird. I don't know. Some guy was doing something with chopsticks and sushi and a naked girl. I mean, it looks interesting. I bookmarked it. I'll go back to it.
Send it to me if it's a 9+.
Oh yeah,
dude. So for a first of our podcasts, we have covered a lot of different sports today. We've covered MMA. We've covered boxing. We've covered baseball. We've covered golf, badminton. We created a beer drinking or an alcohol drinking league.
yes.
I would say this has been a pretty productive episode, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of ground. We got onto some uncomfortable topics, some sports that we might not know a lot about.
I'm tipping off to that one, man. This has been probably one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, you're probably pretty drunk right now too.
Nope, I could probably fly a jet plane right now.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, one way to find out.
So if I hear about you on the news stealing a plane, we're gonna have a problem.
Or you're going to be really impressed.
Probably both.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining in on this episode of Two Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports. You know where to find us. We're on every type of social media except for Snapchat because, fuck it, who uses Snapchat anymore? We're on Facebook and all that other fun shit. We truly appreciate y'all. We love the love. We love the hate. We love everything that comes in between. So
I really like getting the random texts about,
God,
man, I really like y'all's discussion on this, and I really like this, and man, that one topic was really stupid. Like, I love hearing all of it because it just tells me that you guys are listening, and I know that this is probably tooting my own horn a little bit, but I feel like, you know, you never really know what people are going to think when you put yourself out there.
Right.
And you're doing something that like we both feel like what we're doing is awesome. We enjoy it, but we never really know. You don't really know how you're going to be received by, you know, even strangers or your friends or whatever. And so, yeah, getting the text messages and any of the feedback, it's pretty cool, man. It's awesome.
We're looking at doing a couple of live shows here pretty soon at a couple of breweries, maybe out in front of Minute Maid Park. When that is decided, we will make it public to y'all. So when we do, y'all come out and join us. You know, we might have some giveaways. We might have some stuff. Hell, we might even put you on the mic so you can give us your opinion. Whether it's about us or whatever topic we have at hand, that's what we're here for. Because
that's right.
Fuck it, right? So we appreciate y'all again. We hope y'all are doing safe. Or doing safe. I don't know what the fuck that means. Wrap your tool, you fucking fools. And we'll see you next time. And adios, assholes.